comatose, or I pass out on the floor. You got me staring out the window. 8 hours later, you're a no-show. Where I'm from, that's called a no-go. I guess I should have known. I'm sleeping with one eye open, hoping to make it whole. Oh, you're always on my mind, but right here, right now, I'm better without you. I've had this for some time, but right now I know that I'm better on my Remember when we used to lay in bed and talk the night away? Today it feels like you have nothing left to say. I pack my bags and collect my things. Take what you want, but you can't have me. I'm keeping my heart under lock and key wherever I may roam. Sleeping with one eye open, hoping to make it whole. Oh, you're always on my mind, but right here, right now, I'm better without you. I've had this for some time, but right now I know that I'm better on my own. You and me are heading for a disaster. When I cannot ignore, I'm moving forward, you're moving backwards. I can't take anymore. So come on, you're always on my mind, but right here, right now, I'm better without you. You're always on my mind, but right here, right now, I'm better without you. I've had this for some time, but right now I know that I'm better on my own.
You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your #1 source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Trapped inside, it makes it different.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, welcome one and all. Today is September 7th, 2021. This is episode 71 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I, of course, am your amazing pop culture warrior, CQ, and with me, as always, is he's the boy that we once found in a crater, the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured, sliding in from off camera. Please, everybody, give it up for Mr. Radar.
What's up?
Hey.
What's up?
That was slick, man. I like the way you just kind of right off camera, man.
Slide it right in.
Just sliding in. What's up, man? It's Tuesday. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. How was your weekend? It was a long weekend.
It was a long weekend, man. I personally had a 4-day from work, so I'm feeling fantastic. It's been fun. Real quick, let's say hi to the people that are tuning in, because we're already getting a bunch of hellos. Jordan, Ray, David, Allen, who else? Jared, Luca, Heath. What's up, Heath? Yeah, Richard, David, man, y'all awesome. Hello from Idaho. Hey, man, how you doing, Richard? And I had one from New York. Luca. What part of New York, man? What's up, man? How you doing? David, what is a pop culture warrior? That's a great question, David. Fantastic question. That's me. I'm the pop culture warrior. I'm the guy who talks all the nerdy stuff, like Marvel movies and TV shows and video games and vidya games and collectibles and comics and all that fun stuff. And Radar's the guy that makes sure I don't go off on a tangent and keeps me in check.
Or sometimes I go off on tangents and he has to like bring me back in because I don't make any sense.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're here for fun, man. We're here for fun.
That's right.
Do me a favor, Radar. So you're give me a scooch to the right.
My right or your right?
To your right. I'm gonna give you your. There it is. There it is. That's nice and centered. My OCD is flaring. So real quick, before we get into the first hour of shenanigans, as we do, wanted to big shout out to the second hour. We have a phenomenal guest coming on. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh, for those of you that know, I love stand-up comedy. I've performed a bit myself, and but I'm a fan of the professionals, and we have one of my all-time favorite comics coming on tonight. Mr. Chad Daniels. If you don't know who Chad Daniels is, first of all, shame on you because he's phenomenal. But yeah, he oh man, he's great. One of the most streamed comedians of our generation. I mean, his stuff has been streamed over like 1 billion times. Like literally, I'm not exaggerating the number. It's like calculated close to 1 billion times. His comedy's been streamed on like Pandora, Spotify, all that stuff. So he's funny. He's got good stuff, and he is going to be here tonight, barring any unforeseen issues. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Let's see what else. Hailing from JBLM. All right, Edel.
Oh, joint.
I want to perform.
Joint bass, Lewis McCord.
Yeah.
You ever been up there?
I haven't personally. But I'm just trying to make sure I pronounce the name right. Edel. I'm gonna go with Edel. Edel.
I don't know.
So anyway,
it's a rainy shithole. It's a rainy, muddy shithole.
I was close. Etel. Nice to see you, Etel. Thanks for joining us. Nick says I'm the highest streamed comedian in Moscow, Pennsylvania. No big deal. Most streamed.
Oh, from Australia. Adam's here from Australia.
Adam from Australia. Get the out of here. Hey, man.
Great Australian story. So I was at Talil, and there's Aussies there. And I've been there for like 10 fucking minutes, right? And I'm walking back from the PX to my LA, and there was this Aussie dude on a bicycle with a fucking stick with a boxing glove on the end of it. And I was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Come on, mate, we're gonna go. We're jousting." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And like between the LAs, there's a big fucking desert patch there, and he's got fucking they are like in a big circle, and there's like 10 of them on bicycles with their fucking IBAs and all their full kit on, and they're jousting on bicycles with fucking broomsticks and boxing gloves on the end of it, so they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking Aussies are great.
Not gonna say I haven't done a little bit of jousting on in armor. Anyway, Ron from Canada, and okay, close enough from. I'm guessing it's Etzel. I'm gonna go with Etzel. I apologize.
Really, you have issues.
I'm the worst with name. Like if it's not like Mike or Ben or Jim, I'm the worst.
Even then, sometimes you're like, Jime.
Like, no, it's pronounced Jime.
Yeah.
Jam. Ron from Canada, man. Hey, man, tune in from Canada. Yeah, dude, y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. That's I got it. Nailed it. All right, my night's complete. I got a name right. Justin from North Carolina, man. NC, what's up? Harrier Mech. I don't know what that is.
You know what a Harrier is?
Like a jet?
Yes.
Oh, he's a Harrier mechanic from. All right, dude. Man, I'm done. I'm done.
Think a 46 and a 47 is the same helicopter.
I'm thinking. I'm like, I've never heard of Harrier Mech, North Carolina. Oh man, sorry about it, guys. This is I am's who's I am's. Like this is what you get. You know what I mean?
You're good at pop culture, not with the whole.
I had to shove out common knowledge stuff to cram in more comic book and nerddom stuff. So like pronunciations of names and I don't know, jobs and not realizing their cities, all that stuff had to go so I could cram in more MCU knowledge and share it with you all. So, and yeah, Lucas, he gets me. I am what I am. Yeah, I butchered that one. Jesus, I'm all over the place tonight. Ooh, very cool. Something. So I had a fan of the show reach out, and he was saying like, "Man, I love listening to your stuff, but sometimes you'll start talking about an episode of something or a movie of something, and I haven't gotten to see it yet." So he's like, "I have to leave because I don't want to be spoiled, but at the same time, like I don't know when I should come back and if I'm gonna catch something, whatever." And so I was thinking about like, all right, how do I fix that? How do I help this person enjoy the show? So I've came up with this. When we speak about something, we will speak in generalities, right? I'm going to talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. First thing I'm going to do is talk about it in just how it made me feel. How, like, I'm not going to talk specifics of the movie, but more a general what I thought of it. But in moments where we have to kind of spoil and kind of have to talk, I will give you this. It is a clear indication we are going to spoil some shit if you haven't seen it. That is your cue to mute your device, your phone, computer, tablet, monitor, whatever. And as soon as I'm done talking about the spoiler, boop, you know to unmute and you'll be happy. So everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Oh, you should have got like a picture of like every time you talk about spoilers, I think of like, remember when we were kids and like everyone had like a Honda Civic with a giant ironing board on the back?
Big car.
That's what you should have had.
It's a giant like Nissan with this big fin on the back. Like spoiler warning.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. Lots to cover tonight, so I'm going to dive right into it. And like I said, if you're here to see Chad Daniels, so am I. So hang on until the second hour and we'll have Chad joining us, which I'm super pumped for. First up, the biggest thing to come out in this last week, I think obviously, is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the newest Marvel movie. Etzel says Free Guy was an awesome movie, especially if you're a gamer. Highly recommend. Yeah, man, we talked all about it last week, right? I think we talked about Free Guy last week. So
Yeah, you did. I still haven't seen it.
yeah, you still haven't seen it. Shame on you. Shame on my co-host.
Whoa, hold on a minute. So, okay, I went and I got vaccinated like 6 months ago or some shit.
Sure.
Right?
Hmm.
Well, now my daughter has the Rona. Okay.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
yeah, she's
no.
fine. She quit licking shit. Anyway, so we've been under quarantine all weekend. I was supposed to go 5 days and then get a negative test, and
Right.
I'm good again. So I go back to work. But so I wasn't gonna go hang out at a bunch of theaters this past weekend. So I guess I'm waiting for Shang-Chi to come out on Disney Plus because
You're gonna be waiting a bit. You're gonna be waiting a bit. You might want to see it in theaters. Um, David says he's waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, man, so am I. Honestly, so am I. It has been way too long since a good Elder Scrolls game came out. Anyway, all right, so Shang-Chi. So first off, non-spoilerific, is that I thought it was a fantastic movie. Really, really good movie. One of the best origin movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The fight choreography is by far and away maybe the best fight choreography we've seen in a Marvel movie. It is phenomenally good. Shot well. The story's pretty good. Story, I'm always a nitpicky guy for the story, but the story was good. It was very good. And they did something that Marvel does so well, especially of late, and that is they gave us a villain who's relatable in a sense. There's nothing worse than going, he's the bad guy because he's bad. And he wants to do bad things because he's bad. Like, this is, like, you can understand. I don't think I'm spoiling anything to go, the leader of the Ten Rings is or the Mandarin, who's not really the Mandarin in this movie. Wenwu is what he's called. And the idea that, he, for centuries or whatever, he's been this warlord and all these things. And, like, you get that. He comes from the time of Genghis Khan and all these things. Like, that is realistic in the sense of, like, warlords and people trying to take over, different parts of the continent and creating this global empire of whatever, ninja assassins, whatever. But how it picks up in present day is relatable in a sense that it comes down to a story about family. And I think him as a villain, or really, I don't even like calling him a villain, him as the antagonist has a great story, has a great character arc, has a great relatability. It brings back Killmonger, like someone you're like, yeah, he's the bad guy, but I kind of get it. You know what I mean? So that's great. And the co-stars, the side characters are all great. Awkwafina does a great job as Katie. Shang-Chi's sister, Jiang, did a great job. I'm not spoiling anything because you see it in the trailers. We do get an appearance by Wong and Abomination, which was cool because it like connects to, other Marvel products. So it was great. All told, it's a great movie. Lots of surprises that aren't in the trailers, which is always my biggest pet peeves when they show you like the biggest surprises in the trailer and you're like, well, that was fun, I guess. So there's still lots of surprises left, still lots of heart left, and still lots of cool action set pieces that weren't in the trailer leading up to the release, because now that the release is out, they're going to throw everything out there. You might as well patch all the trailers together and you can watch the movie once the movie comes out. That being said, do I want to spoil things? I'm trying.
Yes.
I don't want to spoil the movie for you, Radar.
Well, I don't give a shit. I'm still gonna watch it, and like I'm so dumb. I won't remember half of it when we get time to do it anyway.
Okay.
But okay. Well, okay. So let me say a couple things,
sure.
couple questions before
Please.
we get into spoilers, whatever.
Please.
Is it a standalone movie, or how is it going to tie into the MCU later, or is that spoiling too much?
It is. I will say it does and will tie into the MCU. How it does would be spoilery, so let me hold off on that. And it really is a standalone movie. This is a movie that if you've never seen a Marvel product to date, there might be 2 scenes in the whole movie where you're like, who's that? Like, and that's it. And it's not really necessary to know the background of those people other than like, oh yeah, that person was in a movie that one time.
Right.
So it does stand alone. In fact, we took my wife had a friend visiting, and we were like, well, I was like, well, we're going to the movie. I bought the tickets, and she's like, well, do you mind if she tags along? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Never really seen a Marvel movie. Like, knows about like Iron Man and Captain America because commercials, but never actually like sat down and saw a Marvel movie. She loved it. She loved it. And like she said, there was like 1 or 2 scenes where she's like, I don't get like that, but she loved the movie. So I think that's a great testament to it. With that being said, I'm going to throw up this is going to be a very short spoiler. I'm going to talk about one thing, and it's post-credit scene. So it's not even in the main movie, but I think I'd love to talk about it for a second because it connects to the MCU as a whole. So you're going to mute us. Do 3, 2, 1. Okay. So in one of the post-credit scenes, they start talking about the origin of the rings because it's not something that's clearly defined during the movie. At the end of the movie, I mean, spoiler alert, right? The good guy wins. Come on. I'll leave it at that. And Shang-Chi has the rings now. And Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme's assistant, has him in the sanctum. And they're looking at like kind of trying to understand where these rings come from. And basically, Shang-Chi did this action at the end of the movie that he said, hey man, we all felt that. Like whatever it is you just did, we all felt that like across the world. And so like that's what he brings him in, and then they start kind of like virtually dissecting as they do. And they're basically saying like Wong says, we have nothing on this in our codex, in all of our knowledge as the Sorcerer Supremes, we have no information about this. Then on video conference, they got freaking Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and he's like, hey man, this ain't Wakandan. This ain't nothing like I've ever seen technology wise or science based. And then they've got Captain Marvel herself in there, and she's like, hey, this is nothing, no alien tech I've ever seen. So basically, it's not magic, it's not science, it's not alien. Well, it's like it's not Wakandan. It's like, well, what the fuck are these things? You know what I mean? And the last bit is they go, whatever it is, it's sending out a signal. Like they show like it kind of zooms and enhances little like pulse, and they're like, it's sending a signal somewhere. And like that's kind of where they leave it, and like that I feel is gonna tie into the MCU larger. And basically, like Wong's like, hey, welcome to the Avengers. He doesn't say it like that, but he's like, hey, your world got a whole lot bigger, and you should get some rest because you're gonna be busy. So and Carol's or Miss Captain Marvel's like, hey man, get my number, hit me up, like So it's like it ties him into there. So the whole thing being, this ties into the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe in the sense of like, well, where does this come from? Who's it signaling? If it's nothing of our universe, it might be multiversal. It might be something from another timeline. I mean, we don't know, but obviously we'll know more in the future. So I'm going to end the spoiler rant on there, unless you want to comment anything on that before I end the spoiler.
How's it Banner? Because I thought it was like Smart Hulk now.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing that they don't address. It's just like he appears on screen, over. It's a very quick screen time. So either they settled shit or Doctor Strange figured out a way to separate them into two beings. Like, I don't know. Or they worked out their shit.
Talk about it. They just, yeah.
Yeah, they don't address it at all. It's just Banner. And he is in a sling. So his arm is still damaged even though he's in human form. And it's been time. You can tell it's been a while since Endgame because, like, Captain Marvel has her hair longer. Bruce Banner looks a little disheveled and a little raggedier. But he still has his arm in the sling. So that was permanent damage. So, all right, I'm gonna end the spoiler. All right, come back. Come back. If you've muted us, come back. Come back. Richard, what he said, Cherry was the best Russo brothers movie. You know, I won't argue that. I won't argue that, man. Good point. Hey, Pete. What's up, Pete? I see Pete in the chats. What's up? Check out Cherry. It's good. It's good. Let's see, what else? Okay, so we talked Shang-Chi, which, again, I give it a solid 9 out of 10.
No.
I was going to say 8.5, somewhere 8.5 to 9. 8.75. I don't know, what is that?
That's better. That's better than you gave Black Widow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I liked Black Widow. I liked parts of Black Widow. Certain things I was like, kind of stuck in my craw. Shang-Chi wasn't perfect by any means. There were like 2 things that I would have liked to have seen differently, but overall, it's a quality movie. It's a solid movie. And there's, I mean, especially the back half, there's a lot of CGI. But like, to tell the story they were telling, you have to. You really have to. There's things on the screen that they can't mocap or animatronic or act out, like, you know, and then, you know, environments and water flying everywhere, and like, there's just certain things you have to CGI. But I enjoyed the first half of the movie, which is so grounded in reality that when it gets into the more fantastical elements, it was almost like kind of a letdown. But it's a great movie, like, and the CGI is really well done, but it's almost like it was so good in real life practical that when it goes into more of those fantastical CGI elements, it's almost kind of like it looks so good in real D, not CGI. Anyway, so that's that. The other thing that came out last week, and I believe you saw, was the was it 5th episode of Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Or What If?
Yes,
which was,
I did see that.
What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Man, what a good episode. What a good episode. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into spoilers yet, but
hey, that's a week old and it's free. Like,
it's not free. You have to have Disney Plus.
Whatever, it's close enough. So, I mean, basically, if they care enough to be here at this point, still, they've got Disney Plus, right?
Fair enough.
We'll talk about it, and we'll break it down a little bit.
But yeah.
So, do you want me to start on it?
Yeah, I'm curious your thoughts. I know how I feel about it. I'm curious your thoughts.
Well, of course, you're probably more versed in this than I. I thought it was the ending was very surprising, where like everything just stopped. That was kind of neat. I'm not sure how he could see and talk to the Watcher.
Mm-hmm.
That was a question I had for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when she was talking about the absolute points or whatever, that is going to kind of be, there are going to be others that show up, whether it be in this show or in something like Loki season 2 or in Doctor Strange 2 or something like that. This is going to be maybe not necessarily reoccurring thing, but I don't think it's the last we've heard of that. Right.
I agree on all your points. I look at Tony Stark's death, spoiler, in Endgame, is that I look at that as an absolute point. There's no changing that. It was, you know, if you want to say, well, it was Doctor Strange's 1 out of 16 million ways they won, sure, but we knew that was the preordained timeline of how they were going to fix things. So whatever you want to call it, that I feel is like an absolute point. Your thought, your question on like how he engaged with the Watcher. First, yeah, go ahead. You want
when we talk about that, why don't they have fucking Bucky do it with his metal ass arm? Fucking problem solved.
I mean,
I just fucking won there. Perfect,
I don't know.
done.
Maybe it has to be organic. It has to be organic matter to connect.
Oh, okay.
Because if his metal arm has no like nerve endings, how is he sending his signals to the glove? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just making
saying,
this shit up right on the spot.
Metal ass, fucking magic arm, click, bam, fine,
I
not
mean,
dead.
yeah, I mean, you could say, hey, Captain Marvel is the strongest Avenger, right? That's what they always say, or Thor's a god, or I mean, whatever you want to say. It could have been a million different things. So as far as the Watcher, with the Watcher's ability, uh, Garrett, can we start over? Sorry, I'm late. That's funny. That's funny right there. I don't care who you are. That's funny right there. Um, so in regards to the Watcher, he can make himself visible and approachable whenever he wants. So although he's a Watcher, like he can make himself appear to these people. Now, in the sense of with Doctor Strange, he wasn't trying to make himself visible. The way I took that is Doctor Strange absorbed so much, dark energy and magic, right? Enough that he was able to change an absolute point. It was so much power that like the Watcher became like in his peripheral, right? Like he was so all powerful that even the Watcher wasn't able to stay outside of his uh, 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 scope of recognition. So once he was like, "Hey, I know you're there, and I've read about you," like that's when the Watcher made himself visible, and he came to him and approached him. So that's how that is. And what was the other point you made? Oh, the how it ended. Yeah, the fact that this is really our first exploration into a timeline that ends. Like he's straight up, and technically doesn't end. Technically doesn't end. Just everything around Strange ceases to exist. He's still alive, and being that he's this all-powerful being, probably doesn't need to eat or poop. So he is trapped in infinity, in this tiny chrysalis that he created for himself, and we'll see what happens. Now, I do have a theory, and oh boy, I hope it comes true so I can clip this and replay it and be like, ha ha, I told you. I have a theory. With every episode of What If, we are seeing, we're seeing a different hero, we're seeing a different timeline, we're seeing all these different things. Captain Carter, T'Challa as Star-Lord, Doctor Strange, and a timeline in which the Avengers didn't really form. With all of these, I have a theory that at some point, probably the last episode or two of What If, there will be a multiversal threat, let's say. Maybe a Kang variant, I don't know. Maybe Galactus, something that is going to be of such a threat that the Watcher is going to step in and intervene. The thing he said he would never do. He's going to step in and intervene, and what he's going to do is he's going to pluck these people out of all these different timelines. The people that we've come to know and love. Captain Carter, T'Challa as Star-Lord. This Doctor Strange. He's going to pluck them all. And he's going to create like this multiversal Avengers team to fight whatever threat that he deemed, like whatever he thinks, like this is the ultimate threat. This is the thing that would end all of the multiverse. Then he will step in and make a team. I feel like we're building to an Avengers team, like this multiversal Avengers team. That's my theory. I have nothing to go on. Nothing to go on. Really. I mean, tiny clues, tiny little breadcrumbs to go on that I'm kind of making making a hill out of a
mountain out of a molehill.
Mountain out of a molehill. Jesus Christ, I can't talk today. Trying to make a mountain out of a molehill with this one. But I don't know. What would you be interested in seeing a last episode where it's an all-out war to save the multiverse with all these characters we've come to know and love throughout these episodes?
Maybe.
As long as they make it good.
As long as they make it good. But I'm just saying, okay, so we still have a couple more episodes left yet, right?
Yep.
Of this.
Yes,
we know. Is the next one going to be the zombies one?
Yes, it is, and I'm so fucking excited.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. It just seems like... Okay, these are all happening in different timelines, right? branches of the timeline. Has to be, or else we'd be at this infinite point where all powerful Doctor Strange is in a fucking crystal cube and whatever, blah blah blah.
Okay.
Right? And so Captain Carter wouldn't be a thing anymore. All of the other, all of the other previous and subsequential timelines wouldn't be a thing because Doctor Strange just fucking poof, like ended it all, right? So he has, at the very minimum, he has to be in his own branch of the timeline.
Right. Remember, they were very clear in that he ended his universe.
Yes.
They were very clear in that. He didn't end all the universes, all the multiverse. He ended his universe. So where his timeline branches, he has destroyed all of that reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, you can't have, like, these are all different branches of the multiverse right now, right? So I don't know, the Doctor Strange, okay, in the Sharon Carter, Captain Carter universe, there's a Doctor Strange.
Possibly.
Right? Possibly. There has to be, right?
I mean, the person Doctor Strange, yeah. But doesn't mean he's the Sorcerer Supreme in that timeline. I mean, you don't know. Things could have happened differently.
Okay. For argument's sake, right? You've got Sharon Carter in each timeline. You've got a Captain America in each timeline. You've got whether they become who they are destined to in what we know in the from the movies,
sacred timeline, sure.
Right. They still exist at some point in that timeline.
Possibly, yes.
Right? I mean, possibly.
Possibly. There could be a timeline they never found Cap, so even though he's alive somewhere, he could be still frozen in an iceberg.
But he's still there.
Okay. In the timeline that Sharon Carter comes from, Steve never became Cap. Therefore, he died like a human being. Therefore, in the future where she's at, he does not exist. So
but he was there.
He did exist at some point, sure.
That's what I mean. So you can't. Well, maybe you can now that the TVA is not a thing, but you can't just mix and match all these people into one.
Why not?
Different timeline. Because I said so.
What if the Watcher goes, okay, this is the sacred timeline, and I need to protect this one at all costs. Fuck all those other timelines, and this is the one I have to protect.
But the Watcher can't do that.
Who says he can't?
He said he can't.
No, he said, I'm not supposed to intervene. Never said I can't. He said I'm not supposed to. It's not my job.
Said a couple times he said he can't.
But it's his job to watch. Trust me, as a reader of the comic books, his job is solely to watch. But he's intervened. He's intervened.
Right. What I'm saying, he will not do these things. He said it.
He said it, and I think he's going to renege on that. I think he's going to intervene. That's my theory. You can't change my theory, goddammit. It's my theory. And I think he's going to intervene.
All right, then. I mean, it's a fucking cartoon. He can do what the fuck he wants.
It's my world. You're just living in it. Okay. That being said, I will say, next episode, something oh my God, A, I was a huge fan of. B, I never in a million years thought it would be possible for them to bring, let alone to the MCU, which this is canon, let alone to the MCU, but to just any form of Marvel. Like, I didn't even think they'd make an animated version of this. They are bringing us Marvel Zombies. And if you don't think I'm a Marvel Zombies fan, here Marvel Zombies #1 in the hard plastic, signed by the artist, the amazing Arthur Sudium. Made this. Look at that. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Beautiful artwork. Oh my God. But anyway, huge Marvel Zombies fan, and obviously they ran it into the ground though, like they did like Marvel Zombies 5 and 6 and 7. It's like they went too far with it. But the first couple were just phenomenal. And the fact that they're doing an animated version of this, which is MCU canon, is bonkers to me. Absolute bonkers to me. I don't know why my camera's acting all wonky.
every time you say MCU canon, I just assume there's like fucking Captain America's got like fucking 777 and he's pulling the fucking cord. He's like shooting his shield out of it or something. Like,
That's nice. That's nice.
that'd be an MCU cannon. I want to make one.
All right.
Just build like a little cannon.
We'll try that. There he goes. Hey, that was weird, man. My camera got out of sync for some reason. Yeah, Marvel Zombies, man. Marvel Zombies. I'm still blown away that they're going to do this story. And if my theory, like, this is how I see my theory connecting. Obviously, they're not going to pull a zombie out of the Marvel Zombie episode, but there might be a survivor. There might be someone who's like, they're the last remaining, whoever it is. It could be, I don't think it's going to be Cap because we've seen him be a zombie. I don't think it's going to be Hawkeye because we've seen him be a zombie. But let's say like the last man standing's Ant-Man. He's the last Avenger standing. Like, and he's going to be like back, like the episode ends and he's like backed into a room and he's like, well, this is the end for me. They'll do the cut to black, right? So you're like, well, he's dead. But then later on, if my theory pans out, that'll be the moment the Watcher's like, pluck, I need you. And he adds them to his little multiversal Avengers. Again, just a theory. I have no inside information. Scott says it's like Fast and Furious, but Marvel edition. Yeah. All right, I'll give you that one. So super excited. Literally first thing tomorrow I'm doing when I wake up is watching Marvel Zombies. Me like 7 years ago was freaking out. No, because it's not midnight my time. It's 3 a.m. my time. That's the thing. It's midnight Pacific. So over here in the Eastern time zone.
Eastern Star-Lord? All right, then.
Starboard. Is Starboard?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, so Jesus Christ,
the opposite
man.
of port.
Yeah, exactly. Starboard. I said starboard, not starboard.
It's spelled starboard, but it's pronounced starboard.
Starboard. But yeah, on the starboard side over here of the country is the Eastern time zone.
Oh, Jim Handy. I hope it's just a normal guy and not a superhero, but being a zombie makes him super.
So I like the idea. If they're gonna stick to the source material, the whole point of Marvel Zombies was that the zombie virus affected humans like normally, which is, makes them brain dead and hungry and all that. But the way it affected the superheroes was different because of their superhero DNA, whatever you want to call it. It made them zombies, but they still retained like their I don't want to say humanity because that's not the word because they eat people. They still retained kind of their smarts, but the hunger lust, that bloodlust of like eating was too powerful for them to stop them. So normal people just turned into zombies and were basically, to a superhero, they're just food. And then, eventually they turn on each other and it's a bunch of stuff. But there you go, Scott. Get the zombie, get back in for zombies. Definitely get the zombies. I think a lot of good stuff's coming to Disney Plus. In time, they're still developing Moon Knight, She-Hulk, the Marvels, or Miss Marvel, because the Marvels is gonna be the movie, but Miss Marvel, and a couple other shows that are coming out soon, or I have a feeling are gonna be announced soon. Secret Invasion, that's gonna be a great one. Yes, Edel. Yeah, god damn it. I got you're gonna get a nickname. I don't know. E. I'm gonna call you E.
There you go.
What's up, E? Was it anybody had to do that for Bri? Wasn't it Bridie? Was her name? For Bri. Bri, what's up? All right. So, anyways, enough of that. That's what's out there. Couple storylines because we got 20 minutes till we get Chad. We got Chad coming on. I'm so excited. We were talking about Marvel stuff, so let's switch to movie news. So Shang-Chi has officially broken records. It was already confirmed that it was blowing away the Labor Day weekend record prior to Monday even coming. Like they had already blew past the Monday record or the Labor Day weekend record before Monday was even counted. So now that they've counted Monday, it's even bigger than it was before. So on Monday alone, Shang-Chi earned $18.9 million, which made it the highest Monday total for any film during the pandemic, but also the 28th biggest Monday gross box office ever. So still not bad. But looking at Labor Day as a whole, it surpassed the previous record, which was 30.5. The previous record was 30.5, and the for Shang-Chi it was, I had it, $94 million. It tripled the previous Labor Day weekend record, which was Rob Zombie's Halloween in 2007.
Wow.
Yep, that was the record holder for the Labor Day weekend. Now, it's the the biggest Monday gross open. I was looking through the notes here. It says Avengers, the Monday that it opened. So the following Monday that it opened made 18.8 million. Right? Because, they come out on Thursday night, but that Monday it made 18.8. So it even made more money on Monday than the Avengers made on their Monday. And also, what was the other one too? There was another one. I think it made more than like Spider-Man's Monday, the most recent Spider-Man. So like that's huge. That's huge for a Monday open. Like to make more money on your Monday than the Avengers. That's saying something. I don't know. Take it for what you will.
Is that adjusted for inflation though?
No, it's not adjusted for. It was 2012. You act like it was the 1940s.
I'm just saying, shit's gone up.
Okay, because it's so close, right? 18.9 to 18.8. Adjusted for inflation, yeah, Avengers probably wins. I'll give you that.
Big brain on radar. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Benjamin asked, the Chad? Oh, yeah, we're talking about Chad Daniels, the comedian, the freaking amazing comedian that if you haven't listened to his stuff, you really should. It's so funny. Man, I should have grabbed a clip to play during the break. Yeah. I've been playing it all week on the page. I don't know. I've been posting his clips on the page because it's so funny. All right. So that's Shang-Chi breaking records. What else we got? Oh, this one's a big one. So it was announced. They did a teaser to the trailer. Matrix 4 is getting a trailer Thursday. Keep your eyes open on the page and all of the rest of the internet because it's going to be everywhere. The Matrix 4 trailer drops Thursday, and in anticipation for said trailer, we got these. These are the first images coming from the Matrix 4. Now, do not adjust your screen. You are not seeing John Wick. You are seeing Keanu Reeves back as Neo, the One. What do you think, Radar? Give me a rating on Neo. How's he looking?
Looking kind of haggard, if I'm honest.
Looking old.
He is looking old.
Looking kind of old.
But you know what? In all fairness, I look considerably older as well.
I mean,
so I ain't hating on him. He looks old.
Yeah.
But he looks good though. I'm excited.
I mean, look. Hey, what didn't like his eyeballs get melted or something in the last one?
Maybe.
Remember he had like the some type of burns in his eyes. It's been a while, man. It's been a while since I watched the third one. And let's be honest, the third one wasn't the best of the series.
I don't really even recall the third.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I
remember there was a third one.
Yeah, it wasn't great. One was the best, and two was pretty good. So we have this one, and then we also have this one. Another look. So it looks like we're going back to the dojo, and it's hard to tell because of the sunburst in the background. But it does look like that's Neo fighting, I don't know, some Shaolin monk looking dude.
Shang-Chi.
It's fighting Shang-Chi. Spoiler alert.
Yup, see?
we just ruined it. Marvel is crossing over with the Matrix. So this is their first look. You can actually go. There's a website that you can go to. It's like, I don't know, the Matrix movie or something like that. God damn, I should have grabbed the name of the movie. But basically, if you answer like some questions, they'll show you like a still of the movie, and there's like 14 million combinations or something like that. So like you could see a still that's different from anything anyone else has seen. But again, the trailer's coming out Thursday. Be patient. Be patient. Like, watch Marvel's What If tomorrow, and on Thursday you get to see the trailer for Matrix 4. So, yeah. We got our man Keanu. He's coming back. Yeah, Shipwreck says, see, yeah, the eyes did get burned and wrapped. Yeah, man. I'm telling you. Ed O'Neill looking a little older, but Keanu is like Paul Rudd. They don't really age. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know what skincare this Keanu guy is using, but man, I want some of his genes. Like him and Paul Rudd. They just don't age. They don't age. But yeah, that's a good point. Good point. What else we got? Oh, last bit of movie news. Very happy birthday to Michael Keaton, the Batman, the original, the OG. I mean, if you don't take on like Adam West, but like the OG movie Batman.
Yeah, let's be honest, Adam West is the OG.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so our generation's Batman, Michael Keaton. If you had to guess, how old is Michael Keaton?
104.
Damn, Radar. Jesus. You're off a little bit. You're off by a little bit.
Shit.
That's fucking Batman. Don't talk shit about Batman.
Well, he's fucking rich as shit. Like, buy a new body or
Buy a new face.
Get some fucking $1 million man shit going on here.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll have a crossover there too.
Fair enough. For those that don't know, Sunday, September 5th, celebrated Michael Keaton's 70th. 70. My man is old.
He old as hell.
He old. Yeah. I mean, he ain't the 104 that Radar thought he was. But
I mean, basically.
But 70, like, give it up for this guy. He was recently freaking Birdman in his movie. He was Vulture in the Spider-Man movie. Coming back as Batman in the upcoming Flash movie. And he's 70 years old. 70.
Old as fuck. 104.
Respect.
I mean, no, absolutely. Honestly, he doesn't look a day over
69.
I was gonna say over old as fuck, like from Jim Handy, but he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But he does okay, like legit. He honestly looks like he's in his 50s.
Yeah, I mean,
he's good for being 70.
For being 70, he looks great.
I mean, I know he's not in his 50s because he was old when I was a child, and I'm in my 40s now. So
yeah, fair enough. I mean, you gotta figure. Yeah, I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 soon. Wow, a couple years. And when he did Batman, I must have been 5 or 6 when he did Batman. And you got to think he was close to 30 when he did that Batman movie. So yeah. But seriously, man, I have all the respect in the world. You know, I was reading.
Fucking like Chuck Norris is like 100 years old.
Well,
too.
yeah, he's.
I mean, like all those people. And how do they fucking stay alive that long?
I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? Like Clint Eastwood's a million.
They and still working, still directing and acting. Like they built them different back then. I'm just gonna say it. They built them different back then. Like these guys just don't know how to die. Like they're just, you know.
Well, I mean, Chuck Norris is just gonna fucking between him and Betty White and the Queen and fucking
Jesus. They're not gonna die. They're just gonna replace the Grim Reaper when he retires.
Yeah, right. Keith Richards. Okay, I understand. Like, if you live a healthy life, right? Like, if you people like eat kale and fucking bullshit, you do all the things that, like, I don't know, make you live longer. Fucking Keith Richards is like, he's like injecting rat poison. He's freebasing rat poison, and he's still like fucking going crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
117 years old, fucking
135, still rocking out.
rat poison and crystal meth. And maybe he just died a while ago, and he just let the fucking drugs just keep him going. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's died a while ago, but it's just the drugs haven't worn off yet. So
Right.
once he comes down, like that's why, like if I stop doing drugs, I'll die. You know, like at that point, they're the only thing keeping your heart going. Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, fucking Chuck Norris is still selling like bodybuilding machines and bullshit. So
yeah, true.
yeah. And then fucking Tupac dies.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't get it.
And Tupac would have been 50 this year. Huh? Yeah. I don't know. I got nothing. Couple other news bits before we jump off the call or jump to break. Zombie Keith Richards. Yes, that's the next what if. Zombie Keith Richards. What do you mean zombie Keith Richards? Isn't that what we have now? Oh, but
Wow. It's because he got his COVID
burn.
vaccine. Oh no.
Whoa, Nelly. All right. Quick update on some TV news. For those that are into it, Cobra Kai is returning this December with season 4. Why did I not say a specific date? Because they haven't announced a specific date. If I had to guess, December 17th. That's just a guess. All they've said.
Are they just churning out bullshit now?
Do you not like Cobra Kai?
Medium.
I thought it was all right.
It was medium, but here's what fucking pisses me off. They just start like, oh, we got a little bit of success on this. Let's churn out 1,000 of them, and then they turn into garbage.
I mean,
am I wrong?
So what's the alternative? What's the alternative? Okay, we nailed it. Let's just hang it up and go home?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't make more, okay?
Uh-huh.
But take your time and make it good. Don't just be like, oh, okay, this is successful. Let's churn out 7 seasons in 2 years, and then it's garbage. You know what I mean?
I mean, fair enough. Like,
give it some production value.
In the defense of the studios, there are concerns. When you're dealing with child actors, you can't take 2 or 3 seasons off because they'll age out of the role.
I'm not saying 2 or 3 seasons. I'm saying make 1 good season every 6 months or every year, 9 months or something.
They're on about a year schedule. I mean, COVID obviously threw a lot of stuff off. But prior to that, they were on a pretty yearly schedule, I believe. Jim says make it 3 Ninjas. Dude, do you remember 3 Ninjas? Oh man, I love 3 Ninjas. 3 Ninjas Kick Back. Oh man, 3 Ninjas Kick Back. That was my joint. That was some good family wholesome stuff
with Cobra Kai.
Yeah. But dude. 3 Ninjas.
No.
3 Ninjas Kick Back Cobra Kai.
No.
What?
The Power Rangers show up. That's Cobra Kai's next.
That's going a little too far. I mean, what are a bunch of kids that barely know karate going to do against alien technology with robots?
Maybe. That's what the 10 Rings is trying to activate was the Power Rangers.
Stop connecting every universe that exists.
Planets.
What if the 10 rings were 2 sets of different Captain Planet rings? There you go. It was 2 sets from 2 alternate realities, where in one he was good, and in the other one he's bad. And now they have to find the right kids to be like Earth, Wind, Water, Fire, Heart, and then like he appears and kills himself.
And they're the Cobra Kai kids.
We have completely gone off the rails. Oh man, Surf Ninjas. That was another one.
Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, man, Surf it, dude. If you don't know Surf Ninjas, you got to go back and watch. That is 80s gold right there. That is, and I think it was early 90s actually, but still, it was 80s gold.
Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, Surf Ninjas and 3 Ninjas. Yeah, those were. Oh man, those are. As a kid, you watch that and you're just like, yes, that's exactly how it would happen if I learned karate. I'd be kicking all kinds of butt. And
if I could learn how to surf and do ninjas.
All right. One last thing before we go to break. Paramount Plus has confirmed. Well, let me.
What's a Paramount Plus?
Paramount Plus is Paramount's new streaming service, kind of like Disney Plus, but made by Paramount. Let me take a step back. Earlier this summer, there was an announcement that the South Park creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, signed a new deal with Viacom, CBS, and MTV Entertainment Studios. The deal worth $900 million. And that deal includes them developing 14 original South Park movies, which will debut on Paramount Plus, a new video game, and the South Park series has been renewed through its 30th season in 2027. So, now a month later, we find out that the first of these 14 films will actually be coming out this year. The first two movies that are on their 14 movie video game and 30th season renewal deal, the first two movies are coming out this year. So you'll get two new South Park movies. They're not, and here they say movie. I don't look at it as like, you know, the South Park Bigger, Better, Uncut movie. I think it's going to be like, basically they take 2 episodes, stick them together, or whatever it is, 4 episodes, stick them together, and call that a movie. So I think that's what they're doing, like just bigger episodes, so to speak, and calling that part of it. But yeah, $900 million for many more years of South Park. So there you go. Yeah.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Any of
That's
that, right?
a fuck ton of money. Also, not really. When you think about it, that's a lot of content they have to create for that $900 million paycheck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm old, and I remember South Cut, Bigger, Better, Longer, and Uncut, or whatever,
Yeah.
and I actually enjoyed it. I did like South Park back when I was a mini radar, private radar. Really enjoyed.
I'm sure he did.
Really enjoyed South Park. And then it kind of got stupid after a while, right? It did. Let's be honest. I think maybe I grew up and South Park did not. I hope they bring back the Uncle. That was the best part of that movie.
I do want to keep talking about this, but we've definitely got to cut to break so I can corral our guest and get him going. Benjamin, I saw your message. I'd love to talk to you about it. Shoot me a message on the Pop Culture Warrior Facebook page or Twitter or Instagram or whatever Pop Culture Warrior social media you can find. And shoot me a message because I do want to talk about that, and we'll figure out a good way to do it. So with that, guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, comedian, like fucking legend, Chad Daniels is going to be on the show, and we're going to talk some really, really cool stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Listen to this thing. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Oh, we've got a good one for you tonight. My guest tonight has close to 1 billion streams of his 5 albums to date and averaging 1 million more every week, making him one of the most listened to comedians of all time. He's originally from and still residing in rural Minnesota. He has been touring the country for over 20 years. He has made 6 late night appearances to date and is one of only 13 comics to be featured on The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. His previous album, Footprints on the Moon, was the most streamed comedy album of 2017. His third stand-up special and 5th album, Dad Channels, was released on Amazon in 2019. And his hugely popular podcast, Middle of Somewhere, with co-host Cy Admonson, is released weekly and currently at a whopping 125 episodes. He's currently out promoting his new album, 12th Night, which is available exclusively on Pandora until October 7th, when it will be available everywhere. His own website says he might be the most listened to comedian you wouldn't recognize. But tonight, we're going to change that. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce in person, in visuals, our guest tonight, the ridiculous funny Chad Daniels, everybody. Yay!
Hello. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you found a good spot to film from, and you cleaned up for us. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Looks.
Yeah, everybody always has a nice backdrop, and I have whatever I put on my counter behind me.
It's a good look, man. You know what? It connects to who you are as a character, as a person. You know, it reflects very well.
It is come in, set it down, turn my computer on, and go time.
Beautiful. I love it. It's easy. It says that you got to keep things easy.
Absolutely.
So we were just discussing real quickly that this is kind of a military veteran audience. I always like to start the first question. Do you have, or what is your connection to the military? Like, obviously, I know you haven't served, but do you have family member that served, or friends that served, anything like that?
I mean, I think honestly, the closest family member I have to serving is National Guard, and I know that counts. I'm not discounting it, but when you hear about the big four, it's not mentioned. And then I have friends that have been in the military. So yeah, I think friends are probably have more of a military background than family.
Yeah. And by the way, we do have a live audience, guys. If you have questions for Chad, throw them in the chats. As always, we'll try to get to them. We already got the first comment coming in about have you locker boxed your kid lately? So that's
someone has heard Dad Daniels.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I've also might have been sharing a lot of your clips throughout the week. So
nice.
Just because I love your stuff. I really do.
Thanks.
I'll tell you real quick. Obviously, I've done a tiny bit of comedy, as my audience knows, and I found you. And I think you've mentioned this before, that it's very popular to hear, but I found you on Pandora. Like, I just love listening to the comedy stations, and I kept hearing this voice, and I was like, damn it, that's good. Damn it, that's funny. And then I started, like, recognizing the voice. And finally, I was like, man, I got to, because, I'm driving when I'm doing it. So I'm like, I've got to find out who this is. And I'm like, all right. And the first thing I saw was Dad Chaniels. I'm like, that's a weird name. I'm like, oh, that's the album. All right. But yes, Chad.
My daughter sent me a TikTok once of, how people on TikTok can do voiceovers?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there listening to one of my own bits, and it took me 15 seconds to realize it was me. So I understand not recognizing the voice right away, because I was like, who is this? And I was like, oh, that's a joke that
That guy's funny, man. He's got good stuff.
I never said that. I was like, who is it?
So I do want to say, too, about that. Like, you have a line that you say in one of your specials too about, like, I know, like, you come out and the first words are like, I know this isn't what you expected. I mean, does that come from,
right, yeah.
Does that come from, like, knowing that most people know you from Pandora and things like that?
Yeah. I mean, there was a time where I was down in Tampa, Florida at a club called Side Splitters, and I was wearing dark jeans and a black t-shirt. And this woman came up to me and she was like, excuse me, sir, do you know where the restroom is? And I was like, yep, if you just go right back here. I mean, I was dressed like a bouncer, so I didn't care. And I was like, yeah, just go right over here, and it's on your left. And she goes, oh, that voice, it's you. And so I was like, aha, it's another Pandora listener. But it's kind of nice. I mean, I've been standing in the lobby of clubs before, standing right next to people, and they've been telling their friend about a bit of mine and have no idea I'm standing there. So it's kind of fun in that way.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're unassuming. You're just sneaking in and out.
It's like, some people say, would you rather be able to fly or be invisible? And it's like, well, I'm invisible. It's nice. I can just kind of walk around and no one knows.
Yeah. I'm curious. Do you ever, like, when you find out about that, like, oh man, I've heard you on Pandora, you're like, God damn it, buy an album. Stop listening to me for free. Like.
No, I don't. However they listen is fine with me.
All right, so we're gonna rewind a little bit. Okay. I know you're born. You live in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. I did a little digging. I like to get to know my guests before they come on, and I found out that before doing stand up, you were working for Xerox, and that
yes, that's correct.
Subsequently got let go. Got yourself a nice little 6-month severance package. And this was all about 1998, and that after that, that's how you found yourself kind of at the Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis, Your friends signed you up for an open mic without your knowledge, and the comedic legend was born. Right? That's.
Well, I threw myself a retirement party because I was like, I got money and I'm not even having to work. It's time for a retirement party. And so we were all down there and they were doing shots and they wouldn't let me do a shot. So I was like, I'm not driving you guys for my own retirement party. And then we go to Acme and they announce my name. And I kind of looked at them like, someone else has my name. And they were like, nope, it's you. Gotta go. And so I got up and it was a miserable 3 minutes, but man, I fell in love with it, even though I was just petrified standing up there.
Right. Yeah. It's scary, man. Not a lot of people got the balls to do it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's true.
And from what I was reading too, that like you've wanted to do comedy since you were very young. So I'm curious, what's your kind of first memory as it relates to stand-up comedy?
Well, straight stand up, like me watching it, my parents were watching Eddie Murphy Delirious, and I was in my bedroom, and I kind of had to crawl out, on my elbows and knees, and then I was watching it from underneath my dad's reclined feet, and I was just like, why is I can't believe this guy's swearing this much. And I normally, if I swear, I get yelled at, and this guy's cursing more than I've ever heard before, and my parents are howling. So I thought that was fantastic. And I used to listen to my grandfather would listen to Bob Newhart on vinyl, and he would also watch Hee Haw and All in the Family, and he would laugh so hard his shoulders would shake. And I just thought, this is incredible. To get someone else to laugh that hard is unreal. And I just kind of fell in love with the idea of being one of those goofballs that were making people laugh. So
I'm sure you learned a lot of new words too, watching that Eddie Murphy special.
oh man, it was so great. Because then I remember my art teacher left one time, and I was like, stood up on the desk. I was like, guys, listen, I saw something. You guys should probably hear about it. And I went off, and everyone was like, dude, that's like 100 hours of detention. What are you doing?
You would just put on a performance. If only you had like the red leather. You put on the jumpsuit, everything, and
right.
this. I mean, was it the old show and tell or the talent show? Like up next, Chad Daniels performing Delirious.
That would have been absolutely incredible.
All right, so I guess the age old question of like, if you weren't doing comedy, what would you be doing right now? What if the comedy, you never got on stage at Acme, man? You never took that first step. What are you doing right now?
Well, let's see. I used to say that I wanted to be a teacher, not to this question. Before stand up, I was like, I think I could teach. And then I have seen children now, and I don't think I could do it. Because when I said I wanted to teach, that was still when you could grab someone by the ear and take them out in the hallway.
Sure.
Now you have to sit and listen to their shit, and I just can't handle it. So I don't think I could be a teacher. And I know that I could not do anything in customer service, because the idea that the customer's always right when they're just the dumbest drives me crazy. I always want to sit at a customer service that's not punched in. Just sit there and like citizens arrest people and just go, you're not right. I know it says it on the sign, but you're not right. Your logic sucks. So I can't do that. So I think I'd probably do something like just like drywall, or, just so I could kind of be in my own space,
right?
Listen to my own music, and just, then at the end of the day, you've completed something. I mean, I think feels pretty good, because I used to drywall and I enjoyed it. So
there you go. Hey,
yeah.
Chad Daniels home repair, like the backup plan just in case if anything falls through.
That's right.
All right, so what else? For the listeners out there that maybe aren't as familiar with your back catalog, as it were, what bit do you think you're most known for? Like, which one do people like come at you the most with?
Well, I would say, so I get Locker Box a lot, and that's from Dad Chaniels, but that's because Locker Box is like a follow-up bit to another bit that was on a different album.
Punching your kid in the face.
Yeah, right, yeah. But I do think IHOP, I brought my kids to IHOP, and I think that's probably the biggest one, because that's the one when I realized people were actually coming to shows and buying tickets to see me, because people would yell, IHOP, And I was like, okay, wow, I didn't realize this was happening. At one point in Philadelphia, kind of a fun story is this guy yelled, "Do the IHOP bit." And I go, honestly, I could tell you the story, how it happened. But I go, I don't remember the comedic timing of it because I haven't told it in a long time. And he goes, I do. And I was like, all right, come up here. And so he went up on stage. I went and sat with his friends and drank his beer while he told my joke. Man, that's how comedy should be. I could get behind that.
You've made it when you can sit down. Like, I got paid to be here, but let me take a sit in the audience and you just do my old material. Just go through the back catalog. You got it.
I would love that so much, to just sit in the crowd and have other people do stuff I've written. Oh man, talk about narcissism. That's got it in spades.
Like, man, that guy's funny. That guy's got it. He's got it, man. That material is A+. Which actually it brings, and I have this list of questions that I'm going to go through, but that brings a point that I'm curious about, because when I did comedy a little bit, like I had my friends and other comedians that we were working together, and they loved my material. Oh my God, it's awesome, great. And then when I'm like, all right, cool, I've been doing that for a little while, I wanna try other stuff. I always get that, oh, that was good, but man, the other stuff you had, like, how do you battle that as a comedian when everybody just wants to hear the last thing you did and is kind of like meh on the next thing?
That's a good question, because I get a lot of, oh, you should talk about your kids more, because I think they relate to that. Because
sure.
The word I've heard me described as the most is relatable. And I know there are young parents out there that listen to that and just like, I can't wait till my kids are that old, that kind of stuff. But there are other times I have opinions on things, or I think something else is funny, and people will come up and go, oh, you should talk about your kids more. It's just like, I don't know what to tell them. I just go, hey, if you love that stuff, it is recorded. You can listen to it at your leisure, whenever you'd like. So, I think for me, I just tell people, I got to be doing new stuff. I can't be doing the same stuff or I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to sit up there and just end up snapping. So,
and that's when the local comedian kills audience members asking for IHOP.
Just put a mic on a bungee cord and start slapping people in the forehead with it throughout the room.
Yes, I love it. The little yo-yo, they throw
Absolutely.
out the yo-yo trick. So some people put on kind of a character for the stage. Now, I get the sense from your material, from interviews I've watched with you, that you are the same person on and off stage. I mean, is that more or less accurate?
Yeah, I think so. I never wanted to do a character because I knew there were going to be days I was going to be tired. And sometimes, I know guys that do characters, and I hang out with them in the green room, and I know they're exhausted, and then they have to go out and do an energetic character, and it's like, oh my God, no thank you. So I decided I'm just going to play at one level the whole time. And, but, then some people think I have a character, or I'll be, joking off stage, and people are like, hey, buddy, show's over. And it's like, well, I was me before I became a comedian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not Chad the comedian. I'm just this guy who thought that was funny and wanted to tell my friends about it. So,
yeah.
So I don't have a character because I like to keep it. It's almost like lying. I don't want to have to remember how to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a perfect example. And with you, and I know that you've been told this, that like you have this unique timing or this unique pattern of how you talk and deliver certain lines. But then I'll watch interviews and I'll go, oh my God, that's just how he talks. That's not this like, oh, I'm a comedic master that's just the way you talk, and it's funny. So
yeah, and anytime I hear that, anytime somebody goes, oh, your cadence is, and I go, oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. This is not planned. This is not something I sat down and thought of. This is just it.
Yeah, it's just you. Like, okay, I learned if I say this and I stop here, people laugh, and then I'll say the next thing that makes people laugh.
Yeah, exactly. It's a timing thing, and sometimes I'll be doing a joke where I think it should go one way, and the crowd will laugh early, and I go, oh, so the crowd's like teaching me. Hey man, this is how the joke goes. Just so you know,
this is where we want to. Yeah, this is where we want to laugh. Yeah, exactly. you gotta give us. Yeah, no, that's good. So you have 2 kids. Your son Isaac, who's I'm guessing 22, and your daughter Abby, who's 17.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm nailing it today. My research is on fire. Uh, now we kind of touched on it that you've kind of built a career on talking about your kids and how relatable it is, and they've grown up with us. We've grown up with them. You've grown up with them in the comedy space. I mean, how do they feel about that? I'm curious, because I know that, and that's something that'll change throughout time. But currently, how do they feel about being comedy icons?
I think. Well, I brought them out at the end of Dad Channels. So at the end of the special, I introduced my children. They come out, and people cheered louder for my kids than they did for me. And yes, I was hurt by that, but I didn't show it at the time. But I think they have enjoyed it. I've asked them anytime I have a bit about my kids, I ask them if it's okay to do it. And so, I've been told no a couple times, and that's fine with me. But the ones they've said yes on have been, it's been very fun. And like you said, people, I've been talking about it since they were so little, that when people meet them after shows, if they're traveling with me or something, they'll be like, I was like, you grew up in our house. And one lady lost her mind. One lady was like, what does your son think about this? It's in San Francisco. And we were outside, and I go, why don't you ask him? He's right there. And she ran over and picked him up and started spinning with him. And he was 18 years old at the time. She like put his face in her hands like, oh, Isaac. It was so funny to watch. And he was just looking at me like, who is this? This is like a long lost aunt I don't know about. I was like, no, this is what happens, I guess.
Just I mean, and again, no jealousy at all. That the comedian that comes up with the material is not getting the love. It's just the character that they brought to stage.
Hey, that's fine with me. It started off, so I always wanted to make it about how I was reacting to what they did. But sometimes, I mean, it's just a fact. Like the funniest line comes from the kids. So I'm at my lake cabin, and let me be very clear to the people listening. I live in Minnesota. There are 10,000 lakes. This is not like I have a lake cabin out east where it's like, come to my cottage this weekend. It's not like that. It's a little tiny thing. Well, you can see it. It's got a 1970 refrigerator and wood paneling. Yeah, you can see it. So we were out here the first day we bought it, and we were out on the dock fishing, and this boat comes by and is like, are you the new owners? And Isaac and I were fishing. And I go, yeah. And they go, how do you like your little piece of paradise? And we're like, we love it. And then the guy goes, I wonder what the poor people are doing tonight. That's what he asked. And then Isaac goes, we're fishing. And I almost fell off the dock. I was laughing so hard. But that's just like, he's so funny. He's so dry, but he's so incredibly funny. And then my daughter's the other way where, she's more of an entertainer, while Isaac will just throw out 2 words and I almost fall into the water. So they are very funny.
That's so good. And so being that your comedy has derived, and I'm not solely, it's not like every joke is about your kids, but they're the recurring theme, I should say. Being that that's been the case, and now they're kind of aging out of material. I mean,
right.
Do you see like, okay, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that you're still good? So my 37-year-old told me the other, like, is that what you, what's the future for Chad Daniels when
that would be awesome.
The kids are off doing their thing?
I'm in the 3rd step in the adoption process. I'm kidding. That'd be great. Why do you, Mr. Davis? Why do you want a kid? Well, I need some material.
I need material, man.
Are you kidding me? So, I don't know. I mean, right now my daughter's 17. She's senior in high school. She's got a boyfriend. So I talk a little bit about that. But now I'm kind of opening stuff up to, I mean, listen, when my kids were 5 to 18, I mean, my son was 18, my daughter was 13. I was in the thick of it. So I didn't want to go out there and talk about things that were half-assed. I wanted to go and talk about things that were important to me and things that I was the master of my domain of, because if someone heckled me, I could go, how would you know? You don't live in our home, you know? So I wanted to make sure that hecklers didn't have anything to say because, you know, I was the dad, they were the kids, we were living together, all that stuff. And so that was the thought process behind that. And so now that they are getting older, you know, in the last album, this 12th Night album that I did, which by the way was because of lockdown, I recorded it on the 12th night that I did comedy in a stand-up year, or a calendar year, excuse me. And so it's an interesting album. I mean, you can feel the rust on it a little bit and stuff like that, and I wanted to leave that on there because it's like no one's good at stand-up 12 times in a year. So I wanted to leave that and make it authentic. And Isaac, I don't even think I mentioned him on it, even though he's the guy that introduces me. So, you know, he's kind of aged out of it because he's got a job. He's living by himself. He's got a girlfriend who does not want to be talked about, and that's fine. So now that's off the table.
Right.
Now my daughter, on the other hand, she's got a boyfriend. They don't care if I talk about it. They come home and tell me stories like, "Is that funny?" Almost like they're auditioning to get into the act. It's
nice.
like, well, no, it isn't. It has to be, you know, something. I have to be involved somehow, or otherwise I'm just telling you, why don't you do stand up? Come open for me. That's what I say. But yeah, so we'll see. But I've had a fantastic run. So let's just say the worst possible scenario. Everyone's like, your kids are too old. We're not coming anymore. I'll be like, all right, that was a fantastic run.
Right.
And then I'll just walk around the lake drywalling people's cabins.
That or adopting kids.
Yes,
one or the other.
exactly.
That's always a solid backup plan, you know. Or you know, you can do like a babysitting gig, just so you can mine material. You know, like I'll watch your kids for the weekend.
I'm gonna have to get my son and his girlfriend drunk, see if they can make a baby. I'll be like, hey, I'm a grandpa now, you guys.
There you go. That's
we're
the
firing
next.
it back up.
That's the next phase, man. You move
fired
from
it back
dad channels to grandpa channels.
Oh, you kidding me? Look at this. I've earned every bit of it.
There you
That's
go.
insane how white that is.
20 years of the road, man. It'll get you there.
No kidding.
I had written something a little sly and silly, and I wrote that I'm honestly not surprised that your kids are such a big part of your stand-up, because I know that you were just a few weeks into your first comedy gig when you found out you were going to be a dad, which makes sense.
Yeah.
This huge, amazing thing is happening in your life, and then also you find out you're going to be a dad. You know, so that's you know.
Yeah.
Terrible
That
misdirection.
was man, that was something else. I remember she called me and she was like, I'm pregnant. And I was like, great news. I haven't even unpacked my bags. And then she's like, I don't know what this says about my character, but she was like, I'm not going to need you till the third trimester, so stay up there. So she didn't even want me around for the first 6 months, which is, you know, great.
Hey.
But I went back on my off days. We made it work. She was very supportive. So, so that was very helpful in getting things started. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that leads into my next point, which is, you know, for you, where's the line of something that you won't joke about? Because I've noticed you never talk about your divorce. You never talk about your ex really in your material. And is that I'm assuming that's by choice.
Yeah.
So is that considered something that's just like off limits, or is there more to that?
Well, when we were married, it was, you know, we were a couple, so it had to be expected I was going to talk about some stuff. But now that we're not, it's not for me to say anything about her.
Right.
You know, it's our divorce is both of our stories, and if she doesn't want it told, that's her business. So that's why I chose not to do that.
Yeah. And it makes sense because, like you say, you're relatable in the sense that you're a dad and you're doing these challenges. But something like I have divorced friends. I have guys that are divorced and dealing with children going back and forth, and I could understand where that might be rife with material, but having that line in the sand that says, this is not something I'm gonna talk about, it's respectable. It's to say that this is off limits.
Yeah, so I made the rule early on, and there have been several times where I've just went, damn it, because something is just so good, and it's like, I made a rule, so I'm sticking with it. But there have been some, man, I've written them down, so hopefully somebody finds them when they're going through my shit when I'm dead.
The unreleased jokes of Chad Daniels.
Yeah, right.
I got it. The album title is In Memoriam, Chad Daniels.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And it's all the stuff that you've written down. Yeah, I when you say like I made this rule, it comes to mind like Batman, like I will not kill, like I will not slay
Sure.
with these jokes that I have. Is there? So I'm curious, because of that line, because of that rule, and I guess you just kind of alluded to it. Has there ever been a situation where you're like something happens? Because I know you also said that you won't talk about something your kids don't want you to talk about.
Right.
Is there ever been that moment where something happens and the immediate reaction is like, "Oh my God, please don't talk about that on stage"? Like, does that ever happen?
Yeah, my daughter has said that driving before. She has told me a whole story that is, I mean, we have such an open
Mm.
and honest relationship where I know some things that other dads don't hear about till they find a diary or some other stuff.
Right.
And so she has told me some stuff that's very embarrassing, but she wanted to get it off her chest. And then she said she'll just put her hand on my wrist and go, absolutely no talking about this. It's like, well, I even know where the line is.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't do that to you. It's
Has there? I'm curious. Has there been moments where you're like, "Oh, I want like this is something I definitely want to share," and they like shut like you do like almost like a negotiation back and forth. Like, can I? No. Can I please? No. Anything like
yeah,
that?
no, I never ask more than once. If it's a no, that's it. And
Okay.
then my son has never ever said no to something, but I think he regrets letting me talk about his inability to supinate his hand like this
Right.
because his forearms are fused together, and so instead of doing this, he has to put it up here like this, like he's a server with a tray.
Right.
And so I think he regrets that only because when he went to college, people found out about it through that bit. And then, he was kind of like everything was at that expense. Every joke made was about his wrists and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that if he could have one take back, that would be the joke. Otherwise, I think he's thrilled about the stuff that's happened, and he thinks it's funny and it's true. So I mean, it's not like I'm making him look like a punk or anything. These are
Right.
things that he said and things that we've been through. And
Yeah, and one thing I do respect so much about your craft is that every time you are gonna knock your kid or knock where like there's always this feeling of like you kind of pick them back up. You kind of make them almost like the hero of the story as it ends. I don't know if it's a conscious decision or it's just a protective dad thing, but like, you're like, "Oh, you're such an idiot," but then he's like, "Oh, he does this thing that's super funny." So it's like always a pickup.
yeah, I think it's just, have you ever heard a dad tell a story about their kids and at the end you keep waiting for the good part and you're like, oh, this guy just doesn't like his kids.
Right.
Okay, I got it. And I love my kids to death. So, it's like, hey, look at what kids do. Aren't they stupid? Here's how my kids reacted to it, and either you like it or you don't, whatever. But I thought it was, so
Right.
yeah, it's just one of those deals where, and I think that goes for kids in general. It's like, yeah, you're the dumbest, but it's because you're a kid. You're gonna get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how life works.
I have a son. He's 4, and I always said like I'm not gonna be that dad that like my kid's the greatest, my kid's the best looking, my kid's the smartest. Like I'm gonna be realistic. Now, of course, I happen to think that my son's the most adorable, cutest, smartest, funniest kid ever. But that's besides
Right,
the
of
fact.
course.
He was I think he was like 2, and he would drink and then just dribble at it and like let it go down his shirt and laugh, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen." But at the same time, I'm like, "Oh my God, you're so dumb. You're just so dumb." But I love you like that.
I brought my kid to a ECFE, early childhood and family education class, when he was 4, and there was this mom there, had a really little kid, and I remember she was saying like, "What does a cat say? What does a cat say?" And the little kid went, "Moo," and she goes, "That's right, that's a cow." And I was like, "What are you doing? You asked for a cat. Don't just move on. Don't just skip the fact that your kid thinks a cat's a cow for our sake. Let's get to the bottom of this."
Oh my God,
It's
I love it.
ridiculous.
I love it. And for those that maybe think you're putting on a performance and how you want to react to these people, I have it on good authority. You've done some pretty outrageous things off stage. I can immediately think of pouring gas on someone at a gas station. things like that. So this is
man, that was messed up though.
this is
I mean,
100% you for sure.
Yeah, I get I'm gonna say fired up sometimes. Yes.
Yeah. Do you think I'm curious? Do you think the 20 years of stand up have made you bolder or made you more of that way, or has this been you from day one?
Yeah, I mean, this was me back in junior high, I think, just because I, I didn't really know how to have a conversation with someone when I disagreed with them. So I went immediately to the top rung of the ladder and it was just like, what are you talking? That kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it just is a lack of learning communication skills when I was younger and having nothing else to do but go to the big, like, movie, you know, you go to the theater and you see it builds up and all of a sudden at the end the guy says this and you're like, that's crazy, but then you try it in real life and everyone's like, you're an idiot, buddy. Calm it down.
I mean, it's you've been like, because to me that it's that performance level. The way I look at it is that, like, where most people kind of ramp up or they, there's a verbal, like, you just immediately go to that performance level of like, all right, let's put on a show, and get people riled up.
I think I live right below there, so it's not too far of a jump. I don't have to go too much higher.
Right. Oh man, that's so good. And I want to point out for people that that are just getting to know you here that, like, you self-released your first album, which is 2 minutes for Stale Hacking.
Right.
You signed up with Stand Up Records, which they issued Busy Being Awesome, You're the Best, Natural Selection, and then
Yep.
you did your stand up special As Is, and then was it in 2017 you signed up with or teamed up with 800 Pound Gorilla Records, which, by the way, awesome name,
Yeah.
to release the fifth
Yeah,
album,
okay.
Footprints on the Moon, and it's like as I look through this and as I read this, I'm like it's you. What drives you? What, like, you seem to have this, like, I'm going to succeed. Like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. Like, how can I get what can people do to get some of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad it looks like that because that is not actually what's going on.
Okay.
There was no plan like, I'm going to do an album here, and here. I mean, Footprints on the Moon, I was supposed to record in Cincinnati at Go Bananas in January. And when I got to Comedy on State in Madison, Wisconsin, at I think it was early November, the sound guy at the time goes, "We just got a brand new sound system. Let's record the set." And then we did, and it came out. The show was unreal. I mean, we needed to take out like a couple coughs, but that was it. We didn't hardly edited anything, and then that was the album. So it wasn't like I was, like, here's what we're going to do, and then we're going to do this, and that's going to happen, and then we're going to do this, and that's going to happen. So it all I know is I can't stand doing the same material over and over and over. I remember I was doing a joke. I have a really, really old joke about I hit a pheasant with my car, and a woman followed me off the interstate to yell at me at a gas station. And so I have a whole joke about that. But I did it for so long because it was comfortable and people really liked it that my friends after the show one time, they were like, "Hey, what were you thinking about when you were doing that joke?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And they go, "Your eyes just glazed over." And you know what? I was honestly thinking about what I wanted to eat after the show. And so I was just on autopilot. And from then on, I was like, I don't want to do autopilot anymore. I would rather have jokes that aren't as funny, but new. So at least at least I'm feeling them,
Right.
even if the crowd is like, "Well, this is okay." I mean,
Yeah.
at least I'm into them because they're new words.
You're
so.
in the moment versus
Yeah,
just
exactly.
on autopilot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, right.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We do have a question from Jim in the chat. He says, "Is your son going to do comedy and tell us the stories about you?"
I offered, Jim, that's a great question because I thought it would be so fun for them to come during the summer when I was working in the summer. I don't normally work in the summer because of my kids. I like to be home just hanging out. But I said, hey, if you guys want to do some summer dates, you guys could come, open the show, tell stories about me, and then that could be your summer job because, clubs pay
Sure.
both openers. So you guys could split the money and that could be your summer job and we could go see some cool stuff around the country. And then they thought it was cool for about 10 minutes. And then one of their friends called and was like, "Hey man, we're going to Zorba's, like this pizza restaurant." They were like, "All right, Dad, sorry, we can't talk about this anymore. We have our lives to live."
Screw
So
your
that was it.
dreams. Screw your dreams and your
Oh man,
thing.
I think that would have been so fun though.
I think the
So
audience
much
would
fun.
love that. Absolutely. And I'm not even gonna ask that. Yeah, Jim he says, "Did your son really have Velcro shoes?" And I'm like, don't all little kids have Velcro shoes? But yeah, that's
I will say he did have Velcro shoes.
yeah. Well,
Wrists, remember?
yeah, we'll leave it at that. Okay, so I want to speak a little bit more about the art of stand-up comedy, the stand-up comedy in general, and it's the age-old question of like, oh, which comedians do you love, and this like that. But I'm more interested, what qualities do other comedians have that you like admire? That you're like, man, I wish I was better in that regard.
Ooh, this is a really good question. I like fearlessness, but I don't like it until likability has been established. Does that make sense?
Sure, sure.
Because I have seen people go up and try to gut an audience right off the bat, and I just think this is too soon. People have to like you before you can start saying this kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but I do like that. Qualities that I admire. I admire honesty. I mean, I admire silliness. There so many qualities. But if you're talking about the most, I mean, I love Richard Pryor because of how, I mean, he did really goofy stuff before, but it was still socially relevant. But I really enjoyed his honesty later on in his specials. Like, after he lit himself on fire, smoking crack, and he talks about that, I don't know how you find comedy in that.
That's
but
brave.
But he managed to, and so I think that's pretty important. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. I like it. And really breaking it down, what is it that you truly love about your job of doing stand up, but also what's that thing you just absolutely can't stand about it?
Can't stand about it would be, well, I don't know if there's anything I can't stand. What I really like about it, and if you can hear a dog barking, that's my dog. He's outside for this. Really like about it is kind of like the getting together in a group. Like when I was in high school, we'd get together, we'd have a bonfire, and then I'd stand up and kind of start, making fun of the teachers and doing impersonations and stuff. And I just enjoy that aspect of it where they're walking into a room, leaving everything else outside. And we're just going to sit, and a couple people are going to talk, hopefully be entertaining. But I really like it. Like, I love when I say something and I'll see a couple will like elbow each other. I think that's fantastic because it's like, okay, now we're locked in. Yeah, so I think that's what I like the most. What I dislike, I mean, I like traveling. It's gotten harder to travel, but I still enjoy it. What else do I dislike? You got me. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the back burner and see if I can come up with something.
Yeah, man. You just hit me on social media. It's fine. You hit me with Twitter or whatever. It's fine. So actually, which actually leads into a couple of my other questions.
Oh, I know. I hate social media. There. Thank you. I cannot stand that you are expected to constantly be in people's faces and advertising yourself and taking new pictures and all of that shit. It's like, can't we just put up an old picture, one that they'll recognize? I would think one picture throughout the years would work better, especially with me. I mean, I have aged probably 700 years in 20 years. So I don't need to be sending out new pictures every month.
Right. Like, he looks grayer this week. I don't know.
Yeah, he sure does.
But yeah, no, that actually led me right into what I was going to ask is that you've been doing this 20 years and doing it at, in my opinion, a high level for 20 years. How have you seen comedy and stand-up change over that time?
I think that's it. I mean, that same week I was in Philly when that guy came up and did the IHOP bit. There was a YouTuber there on the Friday Late Show, and it was jam packed with children wearing the same outfit. All the dudes had one outfit on, maybe different colors. All the girls had the same dress on, maybe different colors. And I just thought, man, from YouTube, huh? You're just in your bedroom making a video and all these kids come out. And now TikTok and all that stuff. And I'll tell you something. I don't mind it. And if you can figure it out, good for you. I don't want to start over with all the social media stuff to try to get people to come out. I mean, I released that 12th Night on Pandora exclusively for 1 month. And people are like, hey, can you get some kind of platform that wasn't around when the dinosaurs exist? It's like, well, Pandora's been so good to me that I'll give them this album and hopefully they can help me back. So I don't know. It's all the technology stuff. Yikes. When I started, I had 2 VCRs. I had 1 master tape, and I would transfer my set and then send it out in padded envelopes to get work. And now people are just texting the club owner. It's pretty fascinating.
So like a guy took that from you and actually walked it to where they're going and like gave it to them? Like that doesn't seem in our timeline. Like it's fucking mail. Who mails things?
Yeah, I know.
And so, okay, so, and honestly, my next question was going to be, given the rise of the internet and social media influencing, like, how has that influenced comedy, positive and negative? But we're going to skip right over that because I think you made your point. What about the pandemic? Like that, because I know you were setting up to do, what was it, like the Honesty Tour, and, you were gearing up to do this and had these dates lined up, and then obviously, rightfully so, everything got shut down. How did that time off, like, I've heard stories of people like, this has been great for my creativity. I sit down and write, and other people that are like, I can't, like, it's just writer's block because I'm just staring at a page. Where did you kind of fall in the pandemic?
Probably in the middle, because I felt creative, but I was doing 0 writing because I was just like, I didn't know when the lockdown was going to end. And I'll tell you something. I am not a human being that can sprint unless I know where the finish line is. So I was not just going to be doing all this stuff. And I know a lot of people use social media to go backwards a question. They use social media to keep the momentum going, and good for them. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think it's a good thing. I just don't like it because I don't want to be, I think of myself as not this befuddled old man that's like, hey, turn it on. I don't want to have to do that. And I can figure stuff out. It just takes me a little longer. And the TikTok stuff I'll never get on because I don't get it. 7 seconds is not long enough to make a point. But I just went total blank. Okay. So when I was home, I just decided, my daughter was distance learning, and it was so much fun because normally when she's at school and there's no lockdown, I would work when I did not have her, and I would be home when I did have her, right? And so when I didn't have her, I never saw her. That was a week of not seeing her. But when the lockdown happened, I was home. She was at my place the whole week. And then sometimes like her mom would have something to do, and she would come over for lunch. And we had never had that before. So for me, it was fascinating. I was finding out all this fun shit I'd never done. And I thought it was great. So I didn't write, but then when I went back on the road, I just could not stop scribbling the stories that had happened. And so I think they were always churning up there, but I didn't want to put too much effort into it because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right. And with the climate of how things change constantly, with that great joke you came up with this week, next month could be a waste because of things changing.
Yeah, exactly. People just screaming, "You son of a bitch liar!"
The old news, or fake news.
3 weeks ago. Excuse me, I wrote 3 weeks ago. That was so funny then. Remember?
Yeah, that was funny then. No, that's so good. So I'm curious. Okay, so you do the podcast with Cy Amundsen, and somewhere or somewhere of somewhere is what I just middle of somewhere. My God, I drew a complete blank on there. And I'm curious because you have someone like Kevin Smith who does a lot of podcasting, and the story goes that he came up with this idea for a movie and did like the whole movie, and then ended up making it real with that walrus movie Tusk. it made me think, have you ever come up with material just from kind of shooting the shit on the podcast where you're like, oh my God, that'd be a great bit, and then chase it down?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of thrown stuff out to see if it would stick. And there are a couple stories that I've told on the podcast. Like my daughter failed her driver's test. I told that story on the podcast. And now I'm telling that in my act. And there have been other times, like I've been on Bob and Tom Radio. I don't know if you know the show Bob and Tom, but they have helped so many comedians skyrocket. And I was on there one day and, Tom asked me a question and I was telling the story. And then Bob jumps in with a line that makes me laugh. And then I come back at him with a line that makes him laugh. And I'm like, oh, we just wrote the ending to this bit. So it absolutely happens. Even just chatting with buddies sometimes, So the podcast, I think, has helped. And that was the one thing that was kind of a creative outlet during the lockdown that I really, really looked forward to. And unfortunately, my podcast partner, Cy, has had some issues with his back. And so I had to have guests on, and then I was doing this stupid character, and but it was just fun to be goofy and silly during all that nonsense.
Yeah, and I know you had your mom on for a few episodes, which I'm sure. I really like. Was that an enjoyable experience for you, or was that like more awkward than anything?
No, I loved it. She came in, and I could tell she was a little nervous, but she was excited. It was fun to give her that opportunity because she has put up with so much shit from me. So it was nice to give her that little, and she got so many nice compliments from the listeners. It was fun. Yeah. Oh man. And we are coming up on time, so I want to give you a couple more little ones here before we get going. You're about to set off on this tour. I saw starting in Albany, September 14th, all the way through Portland in the end of December. Which you're coming through the Virginia area. We have to link up or something, man. I'm gonna come check you out. Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll give you some feedback. I'll give you some pointers. It'll be fine. I'll let you know what's working. But do you have anything else? And 12th Night, I know is out right now. I gave it a listen. I loved it. It's classic Chad Daniels. I wanted to give you the chance to promote anything you want to promote, talk about anything you want to talk about, let people know where they can find you and support you and do all that stuff.
Well, I mean, you can go to all the social media stuff. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'll tell you this, though. The only place I look at messages, like DMs, is on Instagram, because I feel like if I'm doing all of them, I'll never get anything else done. And I'm not great at returning messages. So be patient if you do that. But yeah, I mean, that's where you can get most of the dates. I have a website, chaddaniels.com, that has all my tour dates. As far as promoting stuff, I mean, I would say it's been a long year and a half for everybody. So if there's a comedy club open near you, I don't care if I'm there or someone else is there, I would say give it a shot. Even if you don't know the person's name, maybe watch a video, so you don't get your world rocked. But you could give them a chance. I mean, there are so many comedians that are absolutely hilarious that just haven't gotten the recognition yet, but they're out there working their asses off and working every day. So I would say if I was going to promote something, it would be taking a chance on stand-up around where you live.
Yeah. Up-and-comers, showcases, things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's beautiful, man. That's touching. Well,
and you said showcases. I think that's perfect. If there's a showcase at the comedy club where you live, where young kids are trying to get to a festival or trying to get on TV, go to those, because you are getting the best 7 minutes that person has. And it is an absolute blast. Plus, you get to see something really fun. All of a sudden you find out this kid got, Tonight Show or something. It's kind of a neat through line for everybody.
Yeah. You knew him before he was famous. You saw him first. Lastly, I want to ask. So I help teach this intro comedy class for veterans and whatnot, and we always stress the importance of listening to yourself. Recording yourself, playing and listening to how it went. And it's always like the biggest thing. Like I don't like hearing myself, and I don't like listening to how it went. Do you have any advice for those new people? I know you've stressed before about the importance of listening to your own material. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious, any tips I can show the kids?
I mean, you just have to do it. It's like a golfer recording his swing, a pitcher recording everything about how he's throwing. I mean, a joke can I'll just say this: one syllable in a joke can be make or break. It sounds ridiculous, but when you stress one syllable one night and it gets an applause break, and you don't stress it the next night and it kind of sits there and gets some giggles, I mean, that's pretty huge. And when you are thinking about it in your human mind, you go, "Oh, that's exactly how I told it last night," but it isn't. So you go back and you listen and you go, "Oh shit, that's right. I said it like that and I paused differently here," and all of a sudden that's the difference. So I say you have to. And you know what? If there's nothing that stands out that's huge that you think like I need to hear it, then don't listen to yourself, because that's a crazy person, you know. But if there's something that you recognize and you go, "I'll have to listen to that,"
Yeah.
then at least you have in the archives. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard newbies all the time where they're like, did they laugh? Because I didn't even hear it. Like, you're just going through your jokes and like you didn't even listen. Like, well, then listen to the tape, because
Yeah, exactly.
then you'll hear the laughs. You'll know where they like you were stepping on their laughs. Oh man, this has been on it. We didn't even get to there was so much I wanted to ask you about the festivals and about TV appearances and all these different things. But Chad, man, it has been the delight of a lifetime to have you on the show, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Well, thanks for
here.
having me on. I appreciate it. Thanks
Yeah,
for
man.
taking the time.
And you are absolutely welcome back anytime. Anytime you
Cool.
want to just shoot the breeze or talk about we can talk about pop culture stuff, man. You want to talk about comic books and movies and whatever, man. We'll have a gas over it, man. This has been fun. Guys, make sure you check out Chad Daniels, chaddaniels.com, and tour dates and everything. He's going to be all over the country. You got to find him. Like I said, I'm absolutely coming to see you in Virginia. It's a bit of a drive for me, but it'll be worth it, I'm sure.
Cool.
And with that, guys, we're going to toss to a quick break. I'm going to say goodbye to Chad, and then we'll do more show after this. Shots.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, we are back. What is up? Oh, man. My man, Radar. You with us, buddy?
I am righteous.
You're righteous, brother. Righteous.
Do.
Let's do this. Why is your bubble not showing up? What the hell?
I don't know. I was doing that earlier. Sometimes it was on and sometimes it won't.
There it goes. There you are. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Dude, how freaking awesome is Chad Daniels?
Pretty awesome.
The guy
I just
is
have one complaint.
okay.
He wants me to take my wife to a comedy club where some dude is going to give
Their
her
best.
the best for 7 minutes. I can't compete with that. I cannot compete with 7 minutes.
So
She's SOL.
that's a great joke, and it's so funny how many veterans think alike, because I was teaching this comedy class, and one of like the opening jokes for this one dude was like, he's like, you know what? He comes on stage and he's like, all right, I gotta come out here and give you my best 5 minutes of material, or what my wife says is, unachievable, or like my best night, or some shit like that. So like it's so similar that I'm like, oh my god, all veterans think the fucking same.
You know what though? It's an angry 3. So
it's a very violent 30. Like
yeah.
it's a lot of side to side. It's just crazy. Yeah, but dude, Chad Daniels is a legend. I mean, the guy is so freaking funny. And again, there's so much more I wanted to, we're definitely gonna do a part 2 at some point, because there's so much more I wanted to ask him about. And
you know what I thought was great about him in particular was he's just like, I'm just gonna chill in my kitchen. Yeah, it's my dog barking. Like everyone else saw like, oh, how do I look? Is my camera okay? Is everything fine? Like, because they have like, I don't know, like a reputation to uphold or whatever.
Sure.
And he's just like, fuck it, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Let's go. And don't mind the dog barking. He just barks because he's a dog. You know what I mean? He was just totally chill and like laid back, and you guys, and you're so good at like the whole like it's not an interview. You just sit down and bullshit with
It's a
somebody.
conversation. It's a
It
conversation.
is. It's great,
Man.
and it's great how you are with that, and I love it. And
Oh.
and he's such a funny guy, and I've heard of him and I've seen him in some of his like YouTube skits and what.
Yeah.
Funny guy, and like I had to kind of I do my own little research a little bit. When you're like, hey, we're gonna talk to so and so, I'm like, who's that? And I'm like Google, I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking, and so I watch a couple hours of his shit, and he's funny, fucking
So
funny.
So fucking funny, and I love
Well,
that.
in all fairness, that's why he gets paid to be funny, and I'm just like,
and we're volunteers.
and I'm telling shit jokes on a Tuesday radio station, so.
I love that, like you said, he's just so him that like I 100% I expected at some point for him to stand up, go to the fridge, grab a beer, and come back, just pop it, come back, sit down. Like I was ready for it. Like that's because he just seems like that guy like you're on a call with, and they're just going about their day and just being themselves, and it's I love that about him. Love it.
Yep,
absolutely.
It was absolutely, it was great, and he was so fun, and the only thing that other thing that gets me, it sucks. We're in my particular area, there is no comedy clubs. There is no. Every now and again, comedians come through and they'll have like, but it's like, I don't know, like a Larry the Cable Guy stop or some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's still like an hour away from me, so it's like, I wish I could just have like a little brick and mortar fucking comedy club. Like, when I lived in Dallas or when I lived in Florida or whatever, you've got like a little comedy club, and you got like your local dudes like you guys are talking about, and they get on stage for 5 or 7 or 10 minutes, whatever. And sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not, but you buy a couple drinks because you have to, and you have a good night.
Yeah. It's like, that's why comedy's the best at a bar, because you're half in the bag anyway, so everything's just way funnier. No, I do. I totally get you, man. I get you. I like DC for me, where I'm at, is minimum an hour away. If I can fly straight in, it's an hour away. So when I got like my buddies that are like, hey man, I'm opening for so and so, or hey, I'm doing this showcase, I'm like, hey man, I'd love to come out, but that's like an easy hour-and-a-half commute. I gotta find parking in DC. It's 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then I gotta turn around, buy a couple drinks, and then turn around and drive an hour. That sounds horrible.
I'm kind of surprised comedy clubs haven't like dropped that 2-drink minimum, because it feels like it's very irresponsible.
I mean, they gotta
very
make
much
money.
Encouraging me to go down there and have at least 2 drinks and then drive home.
Yeah, which 2 leads to is a veteran mentality. 2 leads to 4, 4 leads to 6.
I'm not
leads
good
to
at
a blackout.
I'm not good at beer math at all.
6 leads to a hospital visit because I blacked out.
Well, that's the best thing though. Now that, because I remember like I used to do that shit, like I said, when I was in Texas, and this would be like a girlfriend or whatever, and she'd always feel like she had to drink her drinks. No, we can buy 4. It's 2 per person. I can drink all 4, and you can drive my drunk ass home. There you go.
I like it.
Big
That's
brain on radar. Radar's a thinker tonight.
That's the big brain on radar right there.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I'm just so hyped, and I'm 100% going to probably Richmond. I think would be closer. I'm gonna go to Richmond, and I'm gonna go. And this is the kind of dedication I have. Like, I'm gonna go drive to Richmond. For me, is about 2.5 hours. I'm gonna drive 2.5 hours to whatever show he's doing. I don't even know the time. It's probably 7:30, 8:30, something like that. Typical, show time. Watch the show, and I'm gonna drive my happy ass home. So that's gonna be a late night for your boy CQ. That's gonna be a late night.
Well, just get a hotel room there. Like,
you think I'm just made of money?
I don't know.
I got a day job, homie. I gotta be at work the next day. I think that show's like a Thursday. I think it's a Thursday. So I'll have to
PTO, son. Take a day off work. Take your wife out. Have a nice, relaxing Mr. and Mrs. CQ dinner. Go out, have dinner. Go to the show. Spend a night in a hotel room. Get a sitta. Be good.
Yeah, Alan. I see you, Alan.
Yeah, get a hotel. That's right.
Get a hotel. And yes, Jim, Dude, Chad rocks the house.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
Stopping at Steak and Egg. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I know Shake Shack. I don't know Steak and Egg. Mike says I picked Radar up on more than one occasion. He liked riding on my Sportster with me.
Oh yeah. Remember how last week
sounds kind of gay? I'm just gonna say, man.
Mike Latoris is a buddy of mine, and remember last week when we were telling stories?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago when we were telling stories.
Ago. Yeah.
He's a pivotal person in some of those stories.
I'm sure.
And so I was making fun of him for being old, and he's like, "Yeah, but it used to give me your IDs for a fake." So he would get into bars. So just
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Waffle House. Yeah.
That'll do
a lot of Waffle House nights.
A lot of Waffle House. But yeah, no. So I'm definitely gonna do it, and I'm definitely gonna, hit him up, and we're gonna get a picture in person. I'm gonna post about it. I'm gonna rave about his show. I think that's in I had it too. I think it's October. So next month he's gonna be in Virginia. I'm gonna hit him up. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it a date night. I like that idea. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Radar. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make it a date night, man. Get a hotel. Get down to business.
Yeah. As long as it's on a Tuesday night, we'll be all right. And if it is a Tuesday,
or we'll stream from the bedroom, whatever. The hotel.
I was thinking more from the show.
Yeah, that too. Whatever.
But if you want, I mean,
show night, baby, show night. Got to show up one day or the other. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another wonderful edition of Pop Culture Warrior. Mr. Radar, would you care to do the honors? And while you tell the fine folks at home what they can anticipate in a typical week of WTF Nation Radio, I'm going to look up the next guest.
All right. Well, tonight you've been listening to Pop Culture Warrior, CQ and Radar. It's Tuesday night. Every Tuesday, we're here. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Dawn's the day. Day of no scheduled activities. We will take the night off, and so will you. Well, I mean, you guys do what you want, I guess. We're not going to be here. Thursday night, normally, Sergeant's time. Big Sergeant stuff. Ice, Spanky, all kind of sergeanting. Talking about big Army. Talking about reserves, National Guard, retirees. Anything Army, they're talking about. Friday night, you've got Friday Night Freedom. When do we get Bill Cosby? I don't know. He tried to buy me some drinks. Anyway, Friday Night Freedom, Cause, Pookie, good show. Check it out. Last week, they had a special guest, Spanky. Maybe you should get some more spank time on Friday nights. Maybe not. I don't know. Saturday, Sunday, the weekend. We don't work on weekends. You guys might. Radar don't. See ya. Monday, the Monday edition, normally. Still on hiatus. Boss is taking a little break. He's on vacation still. I know you're like, hey, it's after Labor Day. Vacations are over. No, it's not. Not when you're Ice. He can do what he wants. He's grown.
He's coming. He's coming soon.
He's coming. Oh, he's coming back, and he's got some big things coming when he comes back. I'm not at liberty to tell you these things, but I promise it's going to be big. It's going to be exciting, and you people out there are going to love it.
Could be huge.
Huge. It's going to be huge. But until that happens, you got to wait until Tuesday with us, Pop Culture Warrior, CQ, and Radar. Back on Tuesdays.
That's right. With the boys. The boys will be back in town. So next week, man, I got a hot off the presses. We've been just killing it with guests. I mean, honestly, I don't know how you feel, Radar, but
I feel excited about it.
Our quality of guests has been just outstanding. Out freaking standing. Next week, we have an amazing actress coming on. Her name is Monique Gabriela Kernan, I want to say, but y'all know I'm bad at names. She is an American actress. She's done theater, film, television, grew up in Mass, has done a bunch of things. She was probably most recognizable, I would think, as she was in The Dark Knight, and she played what's her name? Montoya, Renee Montoya, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that right? Renee?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have her IMDb pulled up.
I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm trying to find. I wanted to make sure I say it right. But yeah, Renee Montoya, I want to say. Damn it! Why can't I find it? When was The Dark Knight? 2008, 2009, 10?
Sure, I don't know.
12?
Yeah, fucking forever ago.
Dude, that's the problem. I'm looking through her IMDb page and I can't even find it because it's so many things.
Yeah, she's done. We've looked at it, and she's done I don't know, a million.
A lot of things.
Feels like a stretch, but it's a lot.
She's done a lot of things.
Now, Jim Handy, I know she didn't play Bane. I know she didn't do that.
She did not play her. She played Ramirez in The Dark Knight. That is the cop that ends up, she's a bunch of scenes in it. And she ends up being the kind of reason that Joker's gang gets the girl. She's the damn cop that got what's her name killed, Maggie.
But she doesn't have a crab on her face.
She does not have the crab on her face. But she's done a bunch of other stuff. I mean, looking through her page, she's got speaking of pop culture-y things, she's been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She played an agent, Hawaii Five-0, CSI. She played a couple of spots in CSI. So she's been around the block, man. Sons of Anarchy. I think she played an FBI agent in Fast and Furious. We were joking about that earlier. So she
wasn't family, though.
She wasn't family. She's not family. Because you do anything for family. She's not family. But yeah, so she plays a lot of like detective agent, FBI agent, like does a lot of those kind of roles, man. She's a very powerful presence and does that. So anyway. So that's what we got next week. I am also she played Cops 4 on Duck Saints. All right. That sounds like a joke, but I'm not entirely sure. She might have.
I'm not saying she didn't.
She played Yelena in Dexter. I mean, come on.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's gonna be a really fun interview, man. I can't wait to start digging into her career.
You're gonna have a lot of material for her.
Seriously, I'm gonna have to put aside a day to go through her IMDb.
You schedule her for 2 hours because we're not gonna have.
Yeah, we're gonna go into OT on that one. All right, guys. With that, we've reached another episode of another amazing episode 71 of Pop Culture Warrior. 71 episodes, wow. Man. We are in the thick of it. We're in the thick of it, and all of you at home have joined us and been along for the ride, and I thank you for being a part of it, because without you, it's just us sitting here staring at pages.
Nothing.
But yeah, other than that, William, WTF is up. That is right. It is up. As in WTF, the time is up. It is the end of the show. Thank you so much, guys, for participating. As always, it is always a blast. The guests love coming on and talking to you guys and sharing, and love your feedback. If you guys ever have any feedback, how can we make this show any better? I'd love to hear it. I'm always looking to improve and make this show better. Hold on, wait, where is it? I have a button. There it goes.
I got a text message a few minutes ago about how to make the show better, and it was make radar funnier.
I'm not a god. I don't have those powers. William, you want to come on the show, man? I tell you what, bet next week, call in, bro. Number scrolls right across the bottom. You want to be on the show? Be on the show next week, 8 p.m. Tuesday night. We'll be here waiting for you. Call in. You see the number scroll on the bottom, and I'd love to hear what you got, man. I'm always up for a spirited conversation on the realm of pop culture. Spoiler alert. But with that, guys, it's the end of the night. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
There it is. Shots, guys.